Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface on the PTR for patch 6.1 with a slightly different style of video today. Normally I record the footage and then I'll do the voiceover later. This is actually in conjunction with each other. So what you're seeing on the screen now, I am physically speaking and we'll be interacting as we go along because we've got rather a sensitive issue to discuss today, and something which Blizzard have brought in to patch 6.1 is going to be a feature to allow people that suffer from colour blindness to get a better perspective of the World of Warcraft. Now, I am not colourblind. I do not suffer from any sort of colour deficiency, and therefore I'm rather ignorant when it comes to information on this. So I've done some research. I've been onto the main colour blindness website. I've looked into various types of colour blindness and all that kind of stuff to hopefully educate myself a wee bit. And one thing that I did discover, and this isn't a stab at Blizzard or anything like that whatsoever, but the terminology colourblind is a wee bit misleading. They say so themselves, as 99% of people that suffer from colour blindness actually have a colour deficiency, which is completely different, where they're sensitive to one colour more than another, as opposed to being just downright confused with two different colours. So that in itself was rather interesting to learn, and in actual fact Blizzard have most definitely taken that into consideration, as we'll see from the colour blindness menu in a wee bit. So kudos to Blizzard for that. So first things first, where do you find the colour blindness menu? Well, if I were to bring up the game menu screen, you go to interface, and then down at the bottom of interface you have this new accessibility tab. Click onto there, and here you go. You now have your colour blindness menu screen. So before we go down to the bottom and really get into the nitty gritty of the different scales of colouring which we can actually play with, I just want to look at the first two ones at the top here. First of all, you can now access a move pad on your screen. You do have to OK it before leaving, and this will allow you to click onto this with your mouse, and one click will be as if you're holding down the button. And look, you can actually click two at once to move in certain directions, and then if you click it again, then it will actually come off to allow you to move around. And if you go left to right, you see it will actually automatically click one off on the other. And then if you to click the move forward button, you will physically stop. The one just below it is the jump button, and of course the one below there is the back button. So people that would have some issues with moving around in the World of Warcraft with the keys, etc., that can actually prove to be very useful to you. So let's bring up the menu again and let's get rid of this. And then the one below it is to enable the UI colorblind mode. Now I'm going to just show you this very briefly to start with, and then we're going to use it in conjunction with the color blindness filters at the bottom here. So first things first, let's just click it and OK it. And I've got two items here in my backpack. One of them is a rare item on the left, and the one on the right is an epic item. So if I were to scroll over the tooltip for the rare one, it now says Gugrock's grandmother rare. It actually tells you physically what the different type of item is. This is a rare item. And if I were to scroll over to the one on the right hand side, the Shards of Nothing now says epic underneath it. So you can physically see what rarity those items are in game. That's going to come into play a little bit later on, so I will keep that ticked for now. So what actually is colour blindness? I've said it's a colour deficiency, and what are the different styles of it? Well, the main three are protanopia, deuteranopia, and tritanopia. They're the main three forms of it. Now, protanopia is a red to green colour blindness, colour deficiency, whichever way you want to put it, which caters more for the red side of the spectrum. That's where the sensitivity lies. Whereas deuteranopia is again a red-green form of colour blindness, but that goes more towards the green light sensitivity as opposed to the red. So we can almost say, if we're to use a very crude analogy, they're like two sides of the same coin almost as regards to that. And tritanopia is a little bit confusing because it's technically classed as a blue-yellow colour blindness or colour deficiency, and that's technically not correct. You see, with tritanopia, they confuse the colour blue with green, and they confuse the colour yellow with violet. So blue-yellow isn't the two colours which are confused or deficient. Blue-yellow are actually the two colours which you have a problem with, again, against green and violet, which are the colours that they do have an issue differentiating between. So it's good just to kind of educate ourselves almost with how these deficiencies work in people. So let's actually have a physical look at how the screen or Azeroth or the World of Warcraft can change. So if I were to click the Protanopia filter, you'll notice now that the adjust strength bar on the right hand side is now adjustable. So it's at 5%, which is the lowest. We have quite a vibrant colour scheme. You can really see the reds of the Horde flag and the yellows and the oranges of the fire that's going all around the place, the browns of the wood, etc, etc. If I were to adjust this scale, we can see how the colour scheme gets dimmer and dimmer almost, and it sort of loses that vibrancy completely, which of course is exactly what people that suffer from protanopia colour deficiency want, because it is a sensitivity towards the colour red. So making that dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, we almost have what I'd class as a pastely type of look in the game now. So if I was just to remove the menu screen for now, and let's just have a look around at the garrison, you'll notice that it's certainly not as vibrant, as bright as somebody like I would see it, who doesn't suffer from a colour blindness or colour deficiency. But somebody that does with the protanopia, they can simply adjust the adjust strength bar and get it exactly how it is, you know, how it would operate for them, how it would allow them to see the game without any sort of, you know, eye issues, problem issues that may cause, you know, things like migraines, etc, etc, which is a byproduct of these sort of things. So again, if I were to put it right back to 5%, we have a very vibrant World of Warcraft. So let's go back into the menu again and have a look at the Deuteranopia. Now this is still a green-red or red-green colour blindness, colour deficiency, but this time, instead of having a red sensitivity, this is the form which has a more green light sensitivity issue. So again, the adjust bar at 5%, the game is as I would see it normally, very vibrant. And if I were to use the bar and take it all the way to the extreme end of the spectrum, you'll notice that it is quite different from the Protanopia. Whereas it was very pastely before, now it just seems to have almost just sucked the colour out of the game. And if I were to click onto like the Payon here, for example, you can see how the green is just slightly duller than it would be in the actual game itself. So it's almost as if how the game would look normally, but it's just had a wee bit of light kind of sucked out of it. So it's quite different from the way that the Protanopia would actually look. So again, I think that's pretty interesting. Now, and let's just put this back to the 5% and move to the final one, which is the Tritonopia. Now, this is the most extreme one, because this is the one where you are more likely to have a physical eye problem, a physical issue distinguishing between different types of colour. So at 5% again, the game just looks normal, as it would. And if I were to adjust the strength bar, the World of Warcraft is going to change very, very significantly. Remember what I was saying earlier, where they kind of have issues with the colour green looking like the colour violet and the colour blue, the colour yellow looking like the colour violet and the blue looking like green. Well, look exactly how things have changed on screen. So if I were just to remove that for now, and do bear in mind, of course, this is the most extreme end of the spectrum. This is from 5% all the way up to 100%. I don't think we can have any doubt whatsoever. The game looks purple slash violet. Yes, all the reds have turned into a violet colour. Even the kind of tiles which are on the tops of like the doorway, for example, and also at the tops of the tower, they too have gone to a purpley colour. And even down below, all of the buildings you can see have this purpley aspect. But look how that green gem at the top of the gem building, the gem boutique, really kind of shines out. And also look at the mini-map too. You notice how the icons have changed colour as well. The blue has gone to a green there. So this is a fantastic way for people that do suffer from tritanopia, colour deficiency, to really get that look exactly how they want. You know, if I was to put it around about 45%, you notice that it's almost, again, purpley look to it, but it is completely different colour to 100%. So this adjust strength bar here is really going to allow you to get the look and the feel of the game, which is going to allow you to get the most out of it. Now, again, I'm going to whack this up to 100% because I'm going to bring back what I was talking about earlier. Now look at the rare and the epic items. They look almost identical. You'd be very hard pushed to actually tell which was which if you didn't really know what it was. So if I go over the tooltip now, you notice how the tooltip's green as opposed to blue. And this is where rare comes in and epic comes in. So that really will help people out that do have any sort of colour deficiency in distinguishing which item is which items. And you might think, well, you know, you can clearly see by the item level what's going to be what. But we're not necessarily looking at that. We're looking at things for, you know, if they're smashing it down for materials and things like that. They don't want to smash the epic down when they were actually wanting to smash the rare to get the, let's say, the dust as opposed to a crystal and such and so forth. So that's really, really kind of helping out. Now, I actually tried to play the game like this for a little bit, because even if you don't suffer from a colour deficiency or colour blindness, you might just want to change how the World of Warcraft looks for you. And I've got to say, after about 10 minutes of playing it like this, I was ready to go back. That was actually messing with my head. But yeah, if you don't suffer, of course you can have a bit of a play yourself and get it how you like. Games like League of Legends and things like that already have a colour blindness mode put into the game, which will actually turn your health bar yellow, and that really allows you also, if you don't suffer from any kind of colour blindness, to distinguish where you are in relation to all the other players, especially if a big fight breaks out. So you have a very easy physical appearance of where you are on the screen and where you need to move to. So this being brought into the game, considering that round about 10%-ish of the population suffer from some sort of colour deficiency, is fantastic. It really is a fantastic feature that I think a lot of people are going to get a good benefit from. It's just enabling people to play WoW. It's not a feature, and it's not a content thing that we need to have a whinge and a moan about by saying this isn't content. This is a feature which really does need to be in the game. This is a feature which is going to help a vast proportion of the community, and kudos to Blizzard for doing that. So there we go. If you suffer from any sort of colour blindness or colour deficiency, post in the comments down below. I'd be interested to know which one it is. Are you a pro, a do, or a try? And also how this will help you. And yeah, because a lot of it is actually colour sensitivity as opposed to colour blindness, judging by the kind of look at the adjust strength bottom here, the adjust strength button here, what kind of setting do you think you would actually need to have it on for it to change the appearance of World of Warcraft to make it more amenable for you? But there we go. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below. And I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch. Those links are in the description down below. And I'll be back with more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.